Okay, now we're going to have to make a bond beam for this end right here. I've already broken out the other bond beams and ready to go, but I wanted to show you how to do a block. You turn it upside down like so, and just a little bit at a time you'll break this out. I'm going to break it down about a ½ inch or so, just enough to where 2 pieces of ½ inch steel can lay in along here. Take your time, block's really soft, no big deal. There. Just go to about a ½ inch down. Okay, that one's ready to go in. Okay, now we'll lay that bond beam. Let's lay that guy in. Here we go. There. Line it up on this side. Now we'll check the level. There it is. And we'll check across this way. That's good. Cut the mortar out of the way. Now we'll check the plumb. And then we'll check the plumb this way. See what we got here. Oh, that's looking good. Very nice. Looking good. Okay, now we'll set our line on each end. Put that here. Yeah. Line's getting a little bit loose, so I think what we'll do is we'll tighten it up. There it is. Just pull it in about a ½ inch. Right there. You want to make sure that the line is snug enough. Okay. There. Okay, now we'll spread the mortar. After a while, you'll be able to spread it just like me. Take your time at first. It'll come. Right there, a little bit of mortar on the joints there. Help the block stand up on its own. There. And 2. Okay, here we go. Bond beam course. This is the course that holds the steel. Right there is a little bit of a rock. That's a problem. It's making the block cocked. So I'm going to pull it out, put it on my knee, find the rock, take it out, and go right back. There we are. Perfect. Now, move a little quicker like me. You won't even take the time to set it down. You just spread the mortar. Let's go. Here we go. Perfect. 1. And we'll cut it off of this guy. 2. There we are. Going for the enclosure. We'll close it up. Get that last block in there. Get that joint nice and full. In she goes. The enclosure. For every enclosure, usually you have to add a little bit of mortar in that joint. Okay, when you're building a wall, it doesn't really matter whether it's 5, 6 feet or it's 20 feet. You always start with a bar of steel on one end. That's the first web. And then you go 1 bar of steel every other web. So every other block, like every block. And you always have one on the end. Okay, I've got 2 pieces of steel cut, and when we come back, I'll show you how we're going to place them in the wall. Okay, I've cut these 2 bars of steel, and we're going to put them in. And just cutting that block down a 1/2 inch to lay this steel in, it's going to work out great. Just like that. 2 1/2-inch bars side by side. And then we have our vertical bar of steel. Always starts at the end. And then you got a bar of steel every 16 inches by 2 feet square. Normally it comes out of the foundation, but we didn't want to do it here since this is a classroom and we didn't want to drill any holes in the floor. So I'm just basically showing you that the steel should be in the foundation and up 16 inches. But anyway, you drop your steel from every corner and then every block. And it would be just like this. Every other web would have its own bar of steel, which would make it every 16 by 2 feet square. And this one right here, and it just so happens it's right close to the end, so you leave this bar here and you always have another one at the very end. Always have a bar of steel at the end. So that's what it looks like. Excellent. Okay, now we'll put that last half block up there, and that'll be a bond beam. Bond beam and another set of steel. Okay. Verticals are every 16 inches. Okay. Back to the same thing. We'll see how our level is. And then we'll check it this way. And check the plumb. And then we'll check it here. Perfect. I like that. Well, we're done with this side. Now we'll move a few things around. We'll take a little break and move our mortar and everything over there. Now we're going to use these little brackets, and the reason for these is so you can work on a wall. And so let's just say that you had a corner here, you couldn't stretch a line block through here, so that's why they made these little brackets. And we'll set our line on it, and when we pull it, it'll kind of choke it to one side. So we'll put that right to the end, And that's the way we'll use it. Bring it around and just choke it. And that's what they're for. Now we'll lay these blocks in. Now that I have that wall in, we'll lay in our horizontal steel. Since the wall's finished, as high as we're going, and drop the vertical bars, starting right here at the end and on down. Now that the wall's finished, we're going to take this concave joiner and we're going to joint this wall up. We'll do all our verticals first, that's the up and down, and then we'll go across the horizontals.